All right. So, second part of Are you capable of being violent? In the last part, I was talking about the feeling body and the physical body. The feeling body is when you go through an extreme situation, grief, like sadness, fear, or intense aggression, but you cannot really let it all out because of society, because you being out in public, and if you act out now, then you will be put into jail or something, or you will be excluded from community. So you have that intense feeling, but you decide to put a lid on it and put it into a corner. So, and then you go about your day, you go about your life for the next couple days, weeks, months, and even years, and you never really go back and address this feeling. But by putting this feeling into a corner, of course, it is not gone. It is still there. And you will be consciously or unconsciously realize that it will find its little outlets. Or you are not conscious about it, and for example, if it is extreme powerlessness that you experienced, you were beaten up by your mom or stepfather, and as a child back then, of course you cannot accuse your mom or your dad because you depend on them. If you accuse them, then you don't know where to get food, water, whatsoever, so you forget about it. You put this extreme feeling of powerlessness into the corner and go about your life. But then in adulthood, you're a grown-up woman now, a grown-up man, and you encounter the same situation again. And it doesn't have to be the same situation, just this feeling is triggered, this feeling of powerlessness. So someone does something to you and you have this feeling that comes up. And out of a sudden, you have this reaction that is completely out of context, It was just a little sidekick from your neighbor and you explode and no one really knows what's going on with you. And the worst feeling is when you yourself don't know what is going on with you. It's quite overwhelming and scary. Okay, so that's my little theory of the physical body, the feeling body, and when you suppress a huge feeling, it will come up at some point in your life. So, are you capable of being violent? Yeah. So, I believe that the young mother with her little children is very capable of being violent. I believe the little girl in the neighborhood, 3 years old, is capable of being abusive. I believe the 40-year-old priest is capable of being manipulative and violent and abusive. So for me, it has nothing to do with gender, with age, or whatsoever. I even believe that it has nothing to do with how you grew up, because it really depends how you process stuff. So some people get abused for their whole childhood, and then in adulthood they are extremely depressed and are not necessarily aggressive. And some people never went through a traumatic aggressive situation, but they're perceived being treated or looked at something inferior, either by their siblings or kids at school. They just have that feeling of being inferior and they just hate it so much. So I think pretty much everyone is capable of being abusive and violent, because we all at some point feel powerless and desperate and don't know how to react to certain situations. So what do I want to achieve with this video? I don't want to make violence okay, or say that, yeah, that's just how it is at times and we have to toughen up. I think I want to make you aware that if you were abusive with someone else in your past, then know that it is not because you are a bad person. Try to find out where it all started, and when this feeling of aggression comes up, or this need to be abusive or making the other feel inferior, when that comes up, try to observe yourself what it triggers. So who pushes your buttons and what happens just before you snap? Because yeah, oftentimes we are just in a loop and we just react and we destroy relationships. And maybe you're not even aware of your behavior. Maybe you just realize, my wife is being so distant, like more and more. Or my kids are so aggressive with me lately and don't want to hang out with me anymore. Or my friends don't ask me out anymore and I'm feeling lonely, and yeah, why is this? And maybe if you learn and see that sometimes it's your own behavior that makes people react to you, then you know that you can change something. Right? Then you know you can be responsible and own your shit and fix stuff. Yeah, fix relationships and fix yourself ultimately. Yeah. I also had this conversation with a guy the other day who told me that he doesn't feel deserving. Like he has this super sweet girlfriend who does everything for him, but for some reason he keeps being an asshole with her. And I know that feeling. Oh my god. Over the run of these little videos, you will get to know me a little better too. Like there's no way around it, because I've been through a lot. Yeah, I've been through a lot of abuse and aggression and violence, but I'm also not a saint. Yeah. So I could relate 100% to what he was saying. Yeah, he said, there's something about her that makes me aggressive, but she's obviously not doing anything aggressive or even passive aggressive, or she's just a super sweet lady who wants to make me feel happy and good. And that was so interesting to me, because I think that it has to do with your view on yourself. Like you're still ashamed and feel guilty about stuff you've done in your past, and you carry that around with you. And then when you're confronted or exposed to sweetness, then you're like, oh my god, she sees the good in me, but she actually doesn't know what I'm capable of, or she doesn't know what I was doing in my past. And as they say in so many books about relationships and self-help, the other person is always going to be your sharpest mirror. So this sweet lady now is mirroring to you that there's still something inside of you that you have to be okay with. You have to forgive yourself, okay? If you've been abusive or violent in the past, and even if it was your child or an elderly person and they really had no chance, you have to find a way to forgive yourself, okay? Because for some reason you slipped through the system, you didn't get to have a trial, you didn't get to go to prison, which is a great thing, yeah? But on the other hand, I think if you have served, like, no, you don't say served, but if you have been in jail and you've been punished by the state, then afterwards, unless you've been re-traumatized in jail, of course, which happens too often, but afterwards you feel like, okay, now I can start again. But if you don't went through the trial system, then you carry this guilt and shame with you. And the really, really fucked up thing about it is that you will, what is this word? You will continue